The Battle of Alcântara took place on 25 August 1580, near the Brook of Alcântara, in the vicinity of Lisbon, Portugal. Background: in Portugal, the death of King Sebastian of Portugal in 1578, with only an elderly childless great-uncle to succeed him, plunged the country into a succession crisis. King Philip II of Spain was one of 7 who laid claim to the Portuguese throne, and in June 1580 a Spanish army of about 40,000 men invaded Portugal, under the command of Don Fernando Álvares de Toledo, Duke of Alba. 2 years earlier, the Portuguese army had been decimated at the Battle of César el-Kebir, causing the death and imprisonment of tens of thousands of Portuguese soldiers and nobles. Dom Antonio also lacked support from what was left of the Portuguese nobility and high clergy, which chose to support Philip II instead. Dom Antonio was therefore forced to recruit an irregular army composed mainly of local peasants and townspeople, as well as 3,000 African slaves who fought for Antonio in exchange for their freedom. Battle. The Duke of Alba met little resistance and in July landed his forces at Cascais, west of Lisbon. By mid-August, the Duke was only 10 kilometers from the city. West of the small brook Alcântara, the Spanish encountered a Portuguese force on the eastern side of it, commanded by Antonio, Prior of Crato, and his lieutenant Francisco de Portugal, 3rd Count of Vimioso. The battle ended in a decisive victory for the Spanish army, both on land and sea. 2 days later, the Duke of Alba captured Lisbon, and on March 25, 1581, Philip of Spain was crowned King of Portugal as Philip I. Aftermath. The decimated Antonian army fled towards Oporto with the intention of reassembling his troops, but was completely destroyed at Oporto by the Spanish forces under the command of Don Sancho d'Avila. At the end of 1580, most of the Portuguese territory was in Spanish hands. 2 more battles over the succession were fought in the Azores. Spain and Portugal would remain united in a personal union of the crowns for the next 60 years, until 1640. This period is called the Iberian Union.